Hey everyone! It's June, which means it's Pride Month, so I wanted to give a brief history of some queer comedians and improvisers. This is by no means in a complete history or complete list. This is really just a story of the LGBT community's influence on comedy over the last 50 years or so. The stories of queer people and artists have always kind of been intertwined. I think that queer people gravitate towards art as an expression of feeling like an outsider or feeling unsure of themselves, and in order to express their experiences, they turn to art. Whether the medium of that art is music, photography, painting, sculpting, dance, and I don't think that comedy or improv is any different. All that being said, I got my notebook so I don't mess anything up. Let's talk about some comedians. So the first comedians I want to talk about are actually a comedy trio from the 80s and 90s called the Funny Gay Males. They were fairly popular in their time. They were on TV, they did live shows. Unfortunately, because they were largely active during the 80s, they faced a lot of discrimination and hardship, because that was a particularly turbulent time, with the AIDS crisis being in full swing and there being a lot of discrimination towards the LGBT community at the time. But something that I think is really cool is that they said that they formed the group because comedy gave them a place when they felt like outsiders, and it also gave them the ability to educate their audiences and begin to increase understanding. Something that all of the comedians I'll talk about later in this video have sort of built upon, is this idea of using comedy to increase understanding. The second comic that I want to talk about is Lea DeLaria. If you ever watch Orange is the New Black, you'll know her as Big Boo, and she was actually the first openly gay comic on TV when she came out during a live TV special. Both her and Funny Gay Males, although they were trying to take control of their story and their narrative, they still sometimes end up being the joke. Even though they were trying to spin the discrimination around towards something they could use in their comedy, there was still discrimination. Almost like even today when people are still fighting for equality. Just something to think about. Many comedians from the 80s and 90s performed primarily in hotspots of queer culture, places like San Francisco, that even today are known as hotspots for the LGBT community. Many comedians came out after they got successful, particularly in this time, but the most well-known is Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, she came out on the cover of Times Magazine. She already had a TV show and quite a large following, and she lost some of her following, but obviously she's still a household name today and she's still very popular. While there are so many more LGBT stand-ups I could talk about, I really want to spend some time talking about one of my all-time favorite shows, Saturday Night Live. The reason I want to spend so much time talking about that is that a lot of the people who are cast members on that show started as improvisers, and I'm a big fan of improv. Unfortunately, over the 45 seasons of that show, there have been only 5 LGBT cast members. Well, LGB cast members. The T is missing, NBC. And that's the T. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Anyway, let's start from the beginning. The first openly gay cast member was Terry Sweeney, who was on the 1985-1986 season of Saturday Night Live. He actually left after only one season after he experienced homophobia and discrimination on the set, and didn't make him happy to be there. While he was there, though, he was well known for his impressions and was an excellent comedian. The second LGBT cast member is Denantria Vance. She actually was on the same season, the 1985-1986 season of SNL, and also left after only one season, but she was not out during her time on the show and left for unrelated reasons. The third gay cast member of Saturday Night Live is Kate McKinnon. Forgive me if I spend a little more time talking about her. She is one of my all-time favorite actresses ever. I think I've seen every single thing that she's been in. She's so funny, and I love her so much, and she's been openly gay for her entire career. She joined SNL for the 2012 season, and she's still a regular cast member now. She started on the Big Gay Sketch Show, but she's also been in the 2016 Ghostbusters movie, The Spy Who Dumped Me, as well as several other movies. She's well known for her impressions of Hillary Clinton, Justin Bieber, Elizabeth Warren, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Ellen DeGeneres, as well as any number of other people. And something that I really love about her is something that one of my professors once told me. And she said that the most powerful thing a woman can do, particularly in theater and in acting, is just be as weird as she wants. Because it's not what people are expecting of you, and it's not how women are supposed to act. And I think Kate McKinnon really embodies that. If you watch her interviews and anything that she's in, she is always this larger-than-life, funny character who you're drawn to because she's just so weird and so herself, and it's incredible. I love watching things that she's in. It's not a crush. Shh, you're so loud. The fourth gay cast member on SNL was also only there for one season. He was in the 2013 season. His name is John Muir. He is still active in comedy, he just is no longer with SNL. And the fifth cast member joined this season as a cast member, however, he'd been a writer for several years before that. It's Bowen Yang, who is actually also the first Chinese-American cast member in SNL history. There's so much more that I could talk about as far as the LGBT community's relationship to the comedy scene or the way the artistic community has developed. But I just wanted to give a brief overview of some influential names over the past 50 years. I think it is particularly important this Pride Month to remember who came before us to fight for our rights. I'm proud to be a part of their stories and to be a part of the legacies of queer comedians and improvisers. Their courage to be themselves have given queer comedians everywhere the ability to be more honest with themselves and with their audiences, and I think that's awesome. Happy Pride, everyone!